Guardians Grandmaster Nightfalls are back, and this time around, they're back sooner than we thought, and this is great news. Now this week, the first GM that we have in Season 21, we have the Lightblade Nightfall. Now I'm not gonna lie, this one was pretty difficult this week, so this is why I'm putting out a guide for all of you solo players on how to get a good build together, find a fire team, and smash this one out this week to farm some golf balls and the Adept Wendigo. Now in this video, I'm going to give you 3 great loadouts that I use to help me finish this Nightfall multiple times, one for each class. So I've got one for the Warlock, one for the Hunter, and one for the Titan. So if you're not sure on what build to use, you can use my builds that I recommend to you, or if you've got your own build, that's completely fine. I will then run you through some gameplay of me completing it, some pointers that you need to look out for, and when all the champions will spawn, so you can follow what I do when you do your run. And then at the end of the video, if you're a solo player and you're struggling to find a group to do this GM this week, I'm going to show you exactly how I found my group and how you can find your group to effectively farm it this week. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the builds that I can recommend for you guys to use. So if you play Warlock, here's the build I use. I like to take advantage of the Phoenix Protocol and the Well of Radiance. This is almost a must if you're a Warlock player. You can't beat the Well of Radiance, especially in these high-end activities. Having a Well of Radiance means great health regeneration and an increase in damage. Tie this in with the Phoenix Protocol and all of your fire team in that well. You're going to get these wells super fast and super quick, meaning you can spam out wells whenever you need them in emergency situations. These are the mods that I like to use. Take a quick look. The most important thing about these mods is I like to run double void resist and a arc resistance. All of the other stuff is completely personal, but this is what I used. As for the subclass, Healing Rift and Healing Grenade and Well of Radiance, we're really double downing on that healing aspect of the Warlock. It is super important. Touch of Flame, Icarus Dash. On the fragments, Ember of Solace, Ember of Benevolence, Ember of Torches, and Ember of Mercy. As for the weapons, I went for the Revision 0, the Forbearance, and the Retrofit Escapade. This is a super great solid build for the Warlock. Put this on if you're playing a Warlock. Now as for the Titan, I like to use the Sentinel class with the Severance Enclosure. I've made a video on this before about how this finisher build really works. It's super effective, so go check that out if you haven't. But if you play Titan, the Void build works very well, especially with its overshields. Here are the mods that I like to run just super quickly. You can copy these. Heavy ammo finders are super important. Arc resistance, also very important, and melee damage resistance. Tie this in with a Severance Enclosure. Whenever you finish enemies, it's going to unleash a huge explosion. As for the subclass, Ward of Dawn is very effective here. This is sort of your oh shit button. You can use this whenever you feel threatened or you feel like you're about to die. Just pop your super, you'll be safe. You can also use this on your teammates as a solid revive, stationary platform, and a defense beacon. Abilities, Barricade obviously, Shield Throw and Grenade. Aspects, Controlled Demolition, and Bastion. As for the fragments, Echo of Obscurity is your bread and butter. Whenever you finish anything, you're going to go invisible. This is super important, especially in the final room. Being able to go invisible in that final room is super helpful, so make sure you take advantage of this. Echo of Starvation, Echo of Cessation, and Echo of Undermining. This is super effective, very strong build. As for the weapons, it's completely up to you. I like to run Riptide to take care of those unstoppable champions and also freeze some of the enemies. Centrifuge, you can't go past it. Super great assault rifle, especially with the arc damage boost. And as for the power weapon, I like to use a machine gun to help clear those ads. As always, max resilience if you can get it. Now for the Hunter, I like the Solar Young Ahamkara's Spine build with the Trip Mines. This is a super effective high damage output Hunter build. Very effective in these sort of scenarios. I like to use this one. Here are the mods. Like I said earlier, Arc Resistance and Double Void Resistance, super important for this Nightfall. Now as for the weapons, again, completely up to your personal choice, but I like to run the Arbalist, the Nature of the Beast, a great hand cannon which can stun Unstoppables, along with the Arc Boost, does some great damage, and a Hothead, we're double downing on that Arc damage boost to do even more damage. Now, just a quick tip on some of the active modifiers. This week's champions are Unstoppable and Anti-Barrier. However, there is only 3 Unstoppable champions in this Nightfall, so as long as one Guardian has Unstoppable, you will be fine, but make sure at least 2 or 3 of you have Anti-Barrier, and you will find out why when you watch this footage. Arc Threat is another active modifier, so you take 25% increased arc damage, so that's why I recommended some arc resistance mods. There is an arc and a void damage surge, so any arc and void damage will do 25% more damage, and a 25% increase to grenade launcher damage, so that is something to look out for, and that is why I ran the Forbearance. So anyway, let's get straight into this Nightfall. So as soon as you spawn in, you want to run down these stairs and stay up the back here. The number one key tip I can give you is just to take this Nightfall Nightfall super slow. Don't rush, there's no need, just take your time and stay alive. So what you want to do is sit at the back here and damage the boss. Once you do a good chunk of damage to the boss, he will teleport away. This is why I had the Revision 0 on. It's very good at far range. One of my other Guardians also had the Wish Ender on, so that helped tick the boss down quite a bit. Don't jump down past this ledge. As you saw, my teammate died, so we had to revive him. However, I also saw that this champion was in a really good spot to take out. Because of this, I focused on taking the champion out while I could, while he was in a really good spot. However, I definitely recommend to damage the boss and get him out of the room to make it much more safer. So anyway, take your time. There is 2 anti-barriers in this room and a bunch of acolytes. So take your time and don't die. So this is what it looks like when the boss teleports away. That's how much damage you have to do, and then he will disappear. After this, focus on the ads and the champions, and you can move on to the next room. So this next part is arguably the hardest part of the strike in my opinion. This room can get very hectic very quick if you're not paying attention. So straight up upon entering this room, there is going to be a Lightblade warrior and 2 anti-barrier champions. Now, you got to be careful for this Lightblade warrior. When he activates his super and he throws the purple void shields at you, these will one-shot you, so you have to be super careful. Make sure you stand behind cover, and if you see the Lightblade doing that, get behind cover and get out of his line of sight until the super ends. What we did was myself, because I had a Well of Radiance, I sort of distracted the Lightblade while my other 2 teammates took care of one of the anti-barrier champions. I recommend taking care of both of the anti-barrier champions before you even focus on damaging the Lightblade. Another thing you need to be on your toes and ready for is for when the Lightblade throws out these suppressing grenades. These will one-shot you if they are near your feet. There is a couple close calls that I encounter in this room, so just keep an eye out for these suppressor grenades. This will also prevent you from using your abilities, which can cause to a death. Now, as soon as you kill both of these anti-barriers, another Lightblade warrior will spawn in, meaning there will be 2 in the room. You need to be super careful because the second one will spawn up the top right where you enter the room, so be super careful of this. As well as 2 Lightblade disciples, which are basically just 2 Arc Knights with swords. These aren't too much of a hassle to worry about, but just be careful and be on your toes. Now, when you finally do get these Lightblade warriors down and you do kill them, they will spawn a ghost, so you have to make sure you get there and crush that ghost so that it does not respawn. This is the last thing you want to happen, so make sure you crush the ghost when you do kill these Lightblade warriors. We were a little messy in this room, but we got it done. Just make sure you keep a line of sight on these mini bosses because they do a lot of damage. You do a bit of running and you'll have to finally jump on a ship, but before you jump on the ship, there's 2 anti-barriers. That's all that's there. Just take one out at a time. It's super easy. Don't stress too much. So we just teamed up, killed the one on the left side, and then jumped over and killed the other one. Now you need to be careful when you're jumping over this ship or the ferry. Do not jump on it because as soon as you land on the ferry, it will activate the encounter and the ferry will start leaving. You do not want this to happen because you want to make sure all 3 of you Guardians get on the ship at the same time. Anyway, this next bit is fairly simple. All you have to do is ride the ferry. There is a few acolytes on either side, so just work together and take them out as a fire team. Use an LMG if you have to, but try and kill them at range. The only thing you need to worry about is a Shrieker right up in the middle, so just be ready for that and nuke it as soon as you can because this will melt you. Once the ferry stops, it's going to ask you to grab 2 charges, deposit them to bring down the barrier. Now, as you will know, on either side there is 2 light bearers. You do not need to kill these. You can simply do this little skip jump, grab the ball and dunk it in the hole. You can do that on either side and it will save you a lot of ammo and risk dying. Once again, you don't need to kill this light bearer. Just follow what I do. Super simple, very effective. Now, once you've dropped the barrier, it's going to ask you to jump back on the ferry and keep going. I accidentally died because of a glitch, but this actually turned out to be very effective. I found out you do not need to ride the ferry. So just jump off when the ferry takes off and take your time. Just work your way, jump through all the platforms, kill the acolytes and the wizards and the shriekers. So just take your time, stay at range. When you finally get to the end platform, you'll notice there'll be a little portal that you can jump through and this will teleport you to where the ferry is. Super simple. Like I said, just take your time. You do not need to ride the ferry. If you end up on the ferry, you can end up dying. So just jump off and take your time. So once you're here, just jump back up on the ferry. There's just a bunch of Thrall, nothing to be really worried about. Just take them out and carry on. Now this next bit where you have to sort of run through this darkness area can be really simple or really hard, depends on how you take it. All you need to do is stick together as a group and kill all of these screebs. They will spawn in front of you, to your sides and behind you. So make sure you're looking in all directions and you are ready to take them out ASAP. When you get to each totem, lose all of your darkness, and then carry on. It's not too bad, just keep running until you get to the end. Also, look out for the lucent moths. These will one-shot you if they get close, so take them out when you can. Once you get through that little bit, you will find your first unstoppable champion, so take care of him. Super easy to deal with, not so bad. I used my Well of Radiance because I knew I would get another one back super fast, so it's not really the biggest stress, so you can use your supers if you have to. Now this next bit, super easy. Once again, just stay up the top here and tick everything down. Don't waste your heavy here, just use your primary and work together and take them out one by one. Super simple, don't risk your life. Like I said, just stay up here and tickle them all down. These final two unstoppable champions at the bottom will be the last unstoppables you have to deal with. So like I said, there's only 3, so you do not need to deal with any more unstoppables. So this is why I said you do not need to worry too much about the unstoppable champions, because there's not that many, and the ones that are here, they do not even pose a threat to you. You can just stay up here and kill them from range. So once you finish that, well done. You're now finally into the boss room. This bit can get a little crazy, so just take your time, don't stress, do not freak out, and most importantly, don't risk your life. So this boss room is split into 3 phases, 1 phase per chunk of the boss's health. As you can see, it's split into 3 phases. The first phase is the simplest, the easiest part. All you have to do is damage the boss until he reaches that first tick. The only thing you really have to worry about is the boss when he shoots out this huge arc burst of bolts at you. This will one-shot you. Do not get in the way of this. Just stay away and line of sight the boss. There is a simple little cheese that you can do, as you can see what my teammate is doing here. Once you get the boss, he will constantly jump up and down off this ledge. All you have to do is sort of get him to fixate on you, jump up on the top, and then jump down, and then jump up onto the other ledge. And as you can see, the boss will sort of do this little movement where he's stuck in this trance where he keeps jumping up and jumping down. As the other 2 guardians in the team, they will trickle the boss down while he's sort of in this bugged out phase. Super easy, and keep this in mind for the following 2 phases. Now, as soon as you hit that damage threshold, the boss will teleport into the middle of the room, and he will spawn 2 disciples and 1 warrior. The disciples are super easy, just burn them down with your machine gun and your rockets, but it's the warrior that you need to look out for. This is the same one as the original room, where he can go into his Titan and he can throw his void shield at you, which will 100% one-shot you. On top of this, he will also throw suppressor grenades out, which will also one-shot you. So line of sight the warriors and just take your time and tick him down. So once you've killed the warrior, unfortunately, another 2 anti-barrier champions will spawn on either side. On top of this, the boss will also be chasing after you. So just work together, kill one of the anti-barriers, and make sure you stay on the top upper ring. Always stay on your feet. Never slow down. Do not stop. Just keep running. And when you finally find that opportunity to blow up a champion as a group, make sure you take advantage of this. Make sure you're using that little glitch that I showed you where you can make the boss jump up and down from the ledge. When you do this, this will give you enough time to run away and blow up the anti-barrier champions. Unfortunately, again, once you get the boss to half health, another 2 anti-barriers will spawn. Just follow the same method like I said before. Kite the boss and take out these champions when you have a spare notice. Make sure you save your heavy because you need to blow these anti-barriers up as soon as possible. So work your way through these 2 champions and then damage the boss until he gets to his final phase. Once you finally get that boss down to 2/3 of the way dead, another group of warriors and disciples will spawn in the middle. So just like the first phase, take the disciples out and take your time with the warrior, line of sight it until it's dead. Now once again, when that boss is down to the half health of the final phase, 2 more anti-barriers will spawn in. So just like before, take these anti-barriers out slowly and carefully, and then once you've defeated those last 2 anti-barriers, you can blow the boss up and tickle him down to then finally complete this Nightfall. So anyway, the biggest tips I can give you for this final room is to just stay on that top barrier unless you were jumping into the bottom to get those orbs of power. Don't be afraid to use your heavy and don't be afraid to use your supers. Just take your time and stay on your feet. And hopefully with these tips, you guys can get this done. You probably will fail a couple times. I did, so don't be disheartened. If you do die, just try again. You're probably not going to get it on your first go, so don't stress, just keep trying. Now, for all of you solo guardians out there that are looking for a group to try and get this done, Discord is your favorite friend. Make sure you have Discord. If you don't have a Discord account in 2023, I don't know what you guys are doing. Set one up right now. Once you've set your Discord account up, you want to join the Destiny 2 LFG Discord. I'm going to put a link in the description to the Discord. all you need to do is add a new server and copy and paste that link into the server browser. It will then put you into the Destiny 2 LFG Discord server. This is a great LFG finder for everything Destiny 2 related. You can use this for every single activity in Destiny. So once you've set yourself up in the Discord, head over down to the Nightfalls tab and you will see people constantly posting for groups and teammates to do this Nightfall, and this is where you're going to find your group. So if you're a bit freaked out of what everyone's trying to say and you don't understand it, most people are going to type something similar to LF2MGM/join and then a username. So what this stands for is looking for 2 more players to do the Grandmaster Nightfall with a join code. So if you didn't know, in Destiny you can type in the chat bar a join code, which will then instantly join you and take you into that fire team. So if someone types something like LF2MGM Nightfall/join, copy that join code into your Destiny 2 chat bar and you should be put into their fire team. If you want to make your own group, type in there something like LF2MGM Nightfall and then put your join code, which you can find in Destiny. It will be your username and then a hashtag and then 4 numbers. Super simple, so take advantage of this. It's very helpful. But anyway, Guardians, that is all I have for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Feel free to drop a like and a subscribe and all that good stuff. But good luck with the Nightfalls, and I'll see you later.